All right. Hey, Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rachakodash, and double honors unto the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, and as well as the men that taught them, and peace and blessings to all you Akim out there who pushing this word with truth and sincerity, and as well as to all you believers out there who believe in the gospel. And it's the brother Kwara Abad from the GMS Houston camp. And I want to go into another lesson that Lord willing to do be edifying. And something I was kind of meditating on earlier. You know how people, when they often consider slavery, right? And they all, obviously, everybody would think about the slavery that the Negroes went through. The transatlantic slave trade, the slave ships, so on and so forth. But when you hear about slavery, people like to make that seem like it's in the past, right? Like that's history, which it is history. But they like to say as if it's never going to come back again. Like slavery, some of the past, like Esau like to say, just forget about it. You see? Just forget about it, so on and so forth. And Salaki, y'all, too, that wind blowing hard. So hopefully y'all can hear me good. But they think slavery a thing of the past, and not even just if it's a thing of the past, but people like to call it an evil thing. Like it's something bad. Which slavery is not bad. People say it's bad because of how Esau, the so-called white man, how he did it, right, in wickedness. But when you consider again slavery in itself, again, people think we so advanced, we in the future, in 2025, we got Wi-Fi, right? You got cell phones. So that's something that happened in the ancient world, slavery. And, and it was so evil that people shouldn't do that to one another again. Because God wouldn't like that, right? But what these people don't know is that slavery ain't no thing of the past. Slavery ain't no thing of the past. Little do these people know, slavery is going to come back alive and well in the future, in the near future, man. You see, in the near future. And what people don't know is that when we talk about the kingdom of heaven, which will be on earth, slavery, it will be slavery in the kingdom of heaven. Because all the kingdom of heaven is the Israelites ruling on earth. And another thing, before we get into the scriptures, people talk about Jesus love everybody, but even Jesus himself, we are ignorant to call Jesus Yahweh Shai, he gonna have slaves in the kingdom. So again, slavery ain't nothing of the past. That's gonna be an event that's gonna take place in the near future as well, man. But let's go ahead and get this, and Lord willing to be edifying. Let's get this in Ecclesiastes first. This is Ecclesiastes 3 and verse 15. Going into the time and place for everything, right? But it says, Ecclesiastes 3 and 15, it says, that which have been is now. Right? That which have been is now. And what's one of the things that have been? The topic of this lesson, slavery. Well, it have been, and guess what? It's going to happen now. It says, Ecclesiastes 3 and 15, that which have been is now, and that which is to be have already been, and the Most High requireth that which is past. So the Most High is the one who will bring slavery back in the world, man. And what it's going to be is that just how these nations, all these nations, they was able to have the Lord chosen people, the Israelites in captivity, right? Put us in captivity, and all the nations took part in that, like it's saying Psalms 83. Well, now once we rule, along with Yahweh Shai, we going to have that opportunity to put the other nations who put us in captivity, now we go put them in captivity, man. And it's just the truth. That's just the way the Lord planned this story. Let's get that real quick in Jeremiah 30. But just to show, slavery is coming back, whether people believe it or not, whether people think it's some evil thing that's, got to be forbidden. No, it's evil the way Esau did it. Let's get this real quick. Man, my battery just started drilling over here too, so hopefully there ain't too much background noise. But it's Jeremiah 30, and I'm going to start at 10. Jeremiah 30 and 10, it says, Therefore, fear thou not, O my servant Jacob, saith the Lord, and neither be dismayed, O Israel. For lo, I will save thee from afar and thy seed from the land of their captivity. Now, what this going into, just to give us some context, the Lord going into how that although we have been put in, horrible conditions as a people, the curse has been put on us, and we've been sent into captivity for our wrongdoings. He gonna say, although I did this to y'all, I'm gonna save y'all. And he gonna say, I was the one who used the heathens to do this to y'all. But come on, man. Salaki. Man, my bad. So all this noise gonna be starting until you try to come out and do a lesson. They weren't doing all this drilling shit. None of these cars wasn't passing. None of this sirens. But as soon as you come do a lesson, now all the noise gonna start. Right? But the Lord was going into how he used these nations to judge us. And now at the end, he gonna use us to judge them, man. See, people don't consider the latter end of the Bible. People stuck in when the Lord came. Right? People stuck in the New Testament. Right? People stuck in, think about that. People don't consider when the Lord, what the Lord gonna do when he come back, how high it's gonna be when he come back and set up his rulership. Right? But let's read it. This Jeremiah 30:10 again, it says, and I will save thee from afar and thy seed from the land of their captivity, and Jacob shall return and shall be in rest and be quiet, and none shall make him afraid. Check this out. It says, verse 12, for thus saith the Lord, thy bruise is incurable and thy wound is grievous. Talking about what he put us through. It says, there is none to plead thy cause, that thou mayest be bound up. Thou hast no healing medicines. All thy lovers have forgotten thee. They seek thee not. For I have, check this out. This is the Lord speaking to us. He says, for I have wounded thee with the wound of an enemy. So the Lord used these enemies, mainly Esau, to judge us. But that's not the end all be all, right? He used these enemies to put us in slavery. But again, that's not the end all be all. It's not over yet. It says, for I have wounded thee with the wound of an enemy, with the chastisement of a cruel one, for the multitude of thy iniquity, because thy sins were increased. So see, the Lord used the nations to judge us. But let's read on. It says, so why criest thou for thine affliction? Thy sorrow is incurable for the multitude of thine iniquity, because thy sins were increased, have I done these things unto thee. But it says, but therefore all they that devour thee shall be devoured. So the people, the nations who the Lord used to judge us, now he gonna use us to judge them. It ain't over yet. Slavery is coming back in fashion. It says, therefore, Jeremiah 30:16, therefore all they that devour thee shall be devoured, and all thine adversaries, every one of them, shall go into captivity. Come on, man. Slavery is coming back. And in the kingdom of heaven. Once the kingdom set up on earth, slavery is coming back. It says, and all thine adversaries, every one of them shall go into captivity, and they that spoil thee shall be a spoil, and all that prey upon thee will I give for a prey. So we going to get our get back. Once the Lord save us, now it's time for us to put these nations in captivity for a long 1,000 years. And then Esau will be exterminated, because that's what's going to happen to them. And next it says, for us, for I will restore health unto thee, and I will heal thee of thy wounds, saith the Lord, because they, talking about the heathens, because they called thee an outcast, saying, this is Zion, whom no man seeketh after. So the Lord, since these nations thought we was nothing, and they did what they wanted to us, the Lord gonna let us do what we want to them. But of course in righteousness. See, we ain't gonna be buck breaking men. We ain't gonna be doing all sorts of wickedness like Esau did. But they will have chains around them. Even in Joel, I think it's the 3rd chapter, it says it's gonna be another slave trade. Just how they sold us on ships, right? The Lord said we're gonna sell their children. But again, people don't think about this aspect of the kingdom of heaven. Let me get this real quick. This is Isaiah chapter 14. So that was one right there, just to show the Lord gonna use us to put these other nations in captivity. Let's further prove it. This is Isaiah chapter 14. It says, verse 1, for the Lord will have mercy on Jacob. Going into when the Lord come back and save the Israelites. For the Lord will have mercy on Jacob, and will yet choose choose Israel. Why I say yet? Because he's going to choose his people as he always chose his people. For the Lord will have mercy on Jacob and will yet choose Israel and set them in their own land, and the strangers shall be joined with them, and they shall cleave to the house of Jacob. Going into all 12 tribes coming back. Now check this out. So once we come back as a people and rule with our Lord, this is what it say next. And the people shall take them and bring them to their place, and the house of Israel shall possess them in the land of the Lord for servants and handmaids. Servants, male slaves, handmaids, female slaves. So it says we're gonna take these heathens and we gonna put them in captivity. That's in the Bible. And this is future prophecy that we read. Let's read it again. We ain't finished. Isaiah 14:2. And the people shall take them and bring them to their place, and the house of Israel shall possess. When you possess something, you could do what you want to that something. It's yours. And the house of Israel shall possess them in the land of the Lord for servants and handmaids. Check this out. And they shall take them captives, whose captives they were, and they shall rule over their oppressors. One more time. And the house of Israel shall possess them in the land of the Lord for servants and handmaids, and they shall take them captives, whose captives they were, and they shall rule over their oppressors. See, we was taking captives. Now we're going to take our captors and put them in captivity. We're going to take our oppressors and oppress them. It's all Bible prophecy. So when people say slavery, that's in the past, forget about it. No, we ain't forgetting about it. Because what happened, think about it. What happened in the past is the reason for what's about to happen here in the near future, man. The actions that Esau took and these nations took on the things that happened in the past, which the past was about 50, 60 years ago, even with the civil rights. But I know, talking about real slavery, like in the 1600s, 17, 1800s, right? But the thing is, that's the reason why the Lord gonna do what he gonna do to these nations in the future, because of what you've done to us in the past, man. Nobody getting off. Let's read that again. Isaiah 14:3 and 2. It says, and they shall take them captives, whose captives they were, and they shall rule over their oppressors, man. And that's what's gonna happen. You know what? That can't be changed. That can't be changed. Now, people may say, well, Jesus ain't teach that, or that's in the Old Testament. But again, we about to get one from the Lord's mouth, Yahweh Shai mouth, and what he was given from his father, which is the dominion over all people, like it's saying Psalms 2, and dominion over all the world. Guess what he said to his people? I'm going to get the same thing my father gave me to y'all. So therefore, if Yahweh Shai going to rule all nations and people, we going to do it with him as his people when we rule in our kingdom. It only makes sense. These other nations was able to rule and put other nations in captivity throughout their empires, throughout their history. Cyrus had other nations in captivity. Pharaoh had other nations in captivity, so on and so forth. So the same thing going to happen when we rule as Israelites, man. It's just our rulership coincides or known as the kingdom of heaven. So people feel like, it ain't gonna be nothing like that in there. Well, it is. Let's get this from Yahweh Shai real quick, because he said it too. It's Revelation 2:26. It says, I'm gonna start at 25. It says, but that which ye have already, hold fast till I come. And he that overcometh and keepeth my works unto the end, to him will I give power over the nations. Power over the nations. For what? For what? What we gonna do with them? Play cornhole, right? Play 2K. What we gonna do with the nations? Let's read on. I will give him power over the nations, and he shall rule them with the rod of iron. That ain't friendly. That don't sound friendly. We gonna rule over you people, man, and that's coming from the Lord's mouth. And he shall rule over them with the rod of iron, as the vessels of a potter shall they be broken to shivers, even as I received of my father. Showing we ain't gonna show these heathens no love like that, man, when we take them in captivity. Now, of course, after that long 1,000 years, because they're gonna love a righteous rulership, but we gonna put fear into these people, man, for what they done to us. And this out of Yahweh Shai mouth. He said we're going to beat these people down. Let's get one more. This Psalms 149. Psalms 149, we're going to read the whole thing. Psalms 149:1, it says, praise ye the Lord, sing unto the Lord a new song. And this is what we talking about, that new song. It says, sing unto the Lord a new song, and his praise in the congregation of the saints. Let Israel rejoice in him that made him, and let the children of Zion be joyful in their king. Let them praise him, his name in a dance. Let them sing praises unto him with the timbrel and harp, going into us being saved. So that's why we're gonna praise and glorify our powers, because he saved us. But watch what we're gonna do once we get in our kingdom and once we save. It says, for the Lord taketh pleasure in his people, he will beautify the meek with salvation. See, it's going into salvation. It says, let the saints be joyful in glory, let them sing aloud upon their beds. It's gonna be our rest. We finally will be at rest. But check this out. It says, and let the high praises of the Most High be in their mouth, so we could be praising the Lord in the kingdom, thanking the Lord. It says, and a two-edged sword in their hand. What that's for? What that sword for? You see? So we could be praising the Lord and bringing judgment. It says, and a two-edged sword in their hand. That's the reason we're going to have it. To execute vengeance upon the heathen and punishments upon the people. To bind their kings with chains and their nobles with fetters of iron. These people going in chains. Like it said in Isaiah 61, we go have them in our vineyards and in our fields. Just like they had us picking cotton, they gonna be picking grapes. I want to make some wine today. Go give me some grapes. Right? If they don't pick enough amethyst out the mountains for me today, I'm cutting their hands off like Christopher Columbus did with the Northern Kingdom with gold. You see, so the Lord gonna allow us to get our get back. To bind their kings with chains and their nobles with fetters of iron, to execute upon them the judgment written. Don't get mad at me. It's just what's written. It's written. The point is, it can't change. It gotta happen. To execute upon them the judgment written. This honor have all his saints. Praise ye the Lord. Every Israelite go get an opportunity to get their get back. You see, because every Israelite went into captivity. But I'm in it right there, Lord willing. It was edifying. I want to give all praise to Yahweh. Ba'ashem Yahushua, Ba'ashem Chakwadash, and with that, Shalom.